Just beading. So stick around, see what I do. I have an idea for a bracelet, so I'm using one of my Nevada shapes, and I'm hoping this is going to work. I like to work with Fireline. I like, we'll see how it goes. I haven't done a live stream in ages just because I've just been focusing on other things. I was on another streaming platform that just was not working. It kept restricting my lives, so I said to heck with that. I am not going on that platform again. Got a larger Nevada because I'm gonna do something like that. So the beads I'm gonna be working with, I really like this blue color. So I was gonna go with some of these seed beads. These are Preciosa brand. I got so many. I'll get it together. They don't tell you the number. This is what I paid for it, so you can see that's what I paid. But they don't give you like the style number or the bead color of it. So, but I would probably say if I had to give you, I have. This looks like it might be just a little. This might be it. This looks like it's a bit brighter, but it may be Preciosa brand 17020, or you can go with Matsuno color 0003. I didn't want to work my usual color, which is the PS557 Toho brand, because I just think it's going to be too much for what I'm looking for. I kind of want a little bit of a sparkle because I'm also going to be doing different colored beads in there. I want to incorporate pearls. These are glass pearls. I think these are 4mm. Yeah, 4mm glass pearls. And I may do something with these rondelles, but they look like they might be a light blue color, so I don't know. I just put them in my my bag here because there's some other different colors that I want to use as well, but I'm really not sure. So I take out the colors that I like to use and just play around with them. So yeah, let's see what we got. But I'm really wondering, let me just confirm here. This is the design process. You're just watching me talk to myself. Actually, you know what? I think that is the same color. It does look like the same color. So, okay. So it's Preciosa 17020. So I'll just use that since it's the color I want, and I just don't want to rip into these. Let me just double check my settings here on my computer, just making sure everything looks good. Alright, so feel free, whoever's in here, replay, chat, whatever, just say hi. Okay, so now that I've got, that's the main bead color, I'm wondering, because I kind of want to go with a green too. I think these are the colors that I pre-chose. I'm not even sure if I'm even going to use these colors. But I kind of like, I'm going to go with green. But then I was thinking alternating the green and blue. But then I'm thinking this is like a blue. And these are transparent. These are, I think, about 2.5 by 2mm rondelles that I like to use because I love putting these in cubic red and gold leaf. So I'm thinking, I love the colors though. I think they're really pretty colors, but I think they might be just a little too light for what I'm looking for. So what I usually like to do, like I said, this is my design process. You're seeing something that's coming into my head and out onto the bead mat. This, I think, just a little too dark. Well, this is a dark blue. I don't have any light blue, so I'm gonna go with something a little bit. And I don't want to go. This is like a very light teal, but I'm thinking this dark blue color that might work. But I'm limited on my beads actually. This is like a cat's eye blue, and that might work. But this is like a semi-transparent, which is just not going to work. And so is this. All right, you know what? Wow, this is a transparent. This is a darker blue than this one. Let's see what time it is. 2 o'clock. My local bead store closes at 5 today. So, all right. Okay. But I definitely want. You know what? Let me pull out my rondelles here, just in case. I may have missed something. I may have missed a darker color. These are way too big. Um, I got all these rondelles and ask me if I have the color blue that I'm looking for. No, I don't. Okay. Teal. These are more of a green. These are more on the blue side. These are 8B. Let's just see. Let's just see. If it works, it works. So, because if I do that, I think the only thing I'm thinking is going to work is this. This is not 8B. A little bit lighter. That is too light. All right, well, let's see what we have with this. I still have a whole bunch more colors here, but they're just too big. And they are just not the right size that I'm looking for. So let's work with what we've got and take it from there. So let me see. Let's just play with it. Okay. Right, so I'm doing my base cubic right angle weave. If this works and this is a good color that I like, what I'm going to do is turn this into a YouTube tutorial. All right. Pick up two. If you guys want to learn cubic right angle weave, I do have a cubic right angle weave in 3 colors. So that is, if you want to sort by, because it's an older video, so if you want to sort by older video, then you'll easily find it. I think it's like maybe the third one from the oldest. You just sort in my videos. You can find it that way. I was going to listen to music, but I can't because I won't get copyright strike. So a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am, Michelle. I've been beading for quite a few years, and you can see all my lovely pieces of jewelry that I share. You can see all my lovely pieces of jewelry that I share here on YouTube. I want to work up a couple rows of this just to see how it's going to look. Do I have 15s? And if I do have 15s, do I have more than these 15s? Yes, I do. I have these. I didn't even check to see if I've got these in this color. I think I do, but let me see. Oops, there goes my. Well, I should check to see if I had those. Let me see here. They are somewhere. I just have to find them. Let me see. I really need to clean this. Those are the 8 ones. I think I was going to use those, but it's a little too late now. Oh, here they are. Found them. Since I don't have it, these are a little bit darker, but these are Toho. So if you're looking for this color, Toho 0022B. What the B stands for, I have no idea. But almost the same color. We'll see how it looks. And actually, I'm currently working on a project right now. I'll show you guys this really quick. But I made a polymer clay cabochon of my kitty cat. This is Cleo. And I made a nice little pendant. I am working on a necklace, and I am doing prismatic 3. And this is her color. So I'm just going to add just a necklace here. Just something simple, nothing too crazy. But that's what I'm working on. Say hi, Cleo. All right, so we've got the beads. That's a good thing. These I don't think I'm going to use, but we'll just keep them out and then use them to embellish. Okay, that's good. This, it's not looking too bad at all. I actually can incorporate. I wonder if I can incorporate light green because not this color, but maybe I've got this darker green in size 15s. This is the, oops, sorry. This is the design process. This is how I figure things out. I think it's really pretty. Do I have these in light green? Let me check. Should. Where are my 15s? There's my 15s. I have a bookshelf to my, what is that, left? And I keep size 15 seed beads in one of these boxes or these plastic containers. And this is just, it's just easier. If you organize using the little bead containers, more power to you, because I can't handle those. But this is how I just put things in. And then I do black, white. I have my metallics. I do yellows. Did I do one for browns, or are these? Is this yellows and browns? I think this is just yellows. And then I have reds, blues. Oh, I did the browns and the cream colors together. I have my orange, my greens, my purples, and beet soup to sort. And I bought this. Gosh, these are old. These are really old. I think these were from 15 years ago because I got these when I was up in Connecticut, and I've been down in Florida now for 10 years. So yeah, these are old. All right, what are we looking for? See, this I get sidetracked. Green. All right, let's see what we have. Just put this away. Let me see. Let me see. I like this green. This green was sticking out to me. But I think this may be a little too yellow for what I'm looking for. And I don't think it's going to show, but it might work. But let me see if I've got something like a shade more towards green. And I don't want the opaque. I want a transparent. This is a, I can't see very well. No, that's opaque. I thought that may have been aligned. I'll keep this out, so we might use that. No. I like this color, but this is like a semi, well, you know what? I don't know. Let's just see. Let's see what else I've got. This might be a little too green. Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. Oh heck no. Oh, here's a transparent. What's the difference between these two? One's AB and one is not. So yeah, this is 15. I think I forgot it right, but if this is 0172 and this is 0164, they're both Toho. Since these are AB, why not? Why not? These were for a project. Obviously, I never did the project. Story of my life. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. Put these away. Oops. Oops. Blue and green. I try to stay organized. Keyword try. Okay. I think I put those into the bowls. And back into the bookshelf it goes. Okay. Alright. So the first thing I'm focusing on is bezeling this. And I'm going to do that. So let's get back into it. Let me make this a little bit easier on my wrist. So I'll put this up over here. This up over here. And yep, that seems easier for me. Okay. Let me think, because I need an odd number, because that odd number, yeah. So I need an odd number. So when I think about this, I think I'm going to add 13 rondelles. I think that'll be the correct size for this. So that's what I'm going to do. Did I do something wrong here? I think so. Oh, what did I do? And go through the next page. Okay. Yeah, I didn't go through the next page. I know cubic writing looks difficult. It's really, you have to get used to it and the pattern and everything. So my video with the 3 colors should help you visualize how you need to do it. And I was thinking about doing a tutorial for one color, just so I can get you guys used to what it looks like with one color. And I think that might do that. Actually, what I want to do, so this is 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think this is what 13 is going to look like. Gosh, it's so hot today. It's 95. I live in South Florida, West Palm Beach, and it is, oh goodness gracious, blazing hot. Speaking of blazing hot, my water is in the other bedroom. I'm actually in my craft room right now. I have a designated room just for my crafts. I do a lot of crafts. But I'm planning on building up some product because I want to start doing art fairs, but I want to really build up a product, make sure that I'm perfecting it before I really put my name out there. I mean, I like my logo very much, but I want to become a little bit more polished before I do that. So I'm figuring out now if I do, let's say, an art show, if it's juried, I don't know. I want to just put my best foot forward. So I'm figuring out a look that I want, but I'm not really. I have an idea of how I want it to look. So like if I do, I already have canopies and tables and all that, but I want to start getting a more polished look to my jewelry, which I think I can accomplish, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Right. So, one thing about cubic right angle weave too is it uses up a lot of thread. So, you're always going to need more thread than you think you're going to need. And the different, if you're not used to cubic right angle weave, each of the different rows could take time. I can usually breeze through a row in about, I don't know, 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. And that usually gives me an idea of how long a specific piece is going to take. Because if I know I need 24 rondelles, it's going to take me approximately just to do the cubic right angle weave. Because I have to do both sides, which reminds me, maybe I should do my 90-degree turn now. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let me do my 90-degree turn now. So just because I don't like to join on an angle, I like to join in like the middle of the piece. Okay, 90-degree. Is it run down two beads? I don't remember. Hold on. The other thing I recommend a project book. Have a project book. This is my project book, and there's Miss Cleo. But I keep a project book of all my stuff. So this is how, if I want cubic craw on a specific, like where I want the rondelles on here, intersection, right turn, there's a rondelle and 2 seed beads. So I have my own little rondelle and 2 seed beads. And that's what I know I have to pull up next. So I always keep a project book. It's a reference book with my notes, my shorthand, a rondelle, 2 seed beads. And that's what I keep. So I highly recommend that if you're beginning beading. Also, if you're beginning beading, and I said this on a Facebook post, make sure that you have like samples of your stitches, because if you have an idea for a project that's in your head, the more stitches that you know, the more you will be able to get that piece out of your head and into the real world. So if I didn't know cubic right angle weave, I want to be able to do what I'm going to be doing for this project. So that's what I recommend. All right. And of course, you can always watch my YouTube videos. I can give little tips and tricks in there. If you watch a video, if there's like, you know, fun little tidbit as we're reading a specific project. Okay, there's that. All right. So, and the 90-degree turn, as you can see, the hole is going like this for the rows that we had just done, but now it's going like this. And then when we flip it over, our holes are going to go like this. And I'll show you in a moment. All right, so now I'm going to pick up the gold, rondelle, the gold, and the 90 degree is really easy. You just have to know when you're doing your 90-degree turn what rondelle, like what you're going to pick up first. So if you were going to do a rondelle and 2 seed beads, that gives you the 90-degree turn going right. But if you were to do 2 seed beads in a rondelle, it would have you go this way instead of this way. And then I also have a video tutorial that teaches you how to do this, how to do a right hand turn, how to do a left hand turn, how to do a T, so you have both the right and the left hand turn, and a 4-way intersection. So you can check that out. But I like to make sure that you guys have the knowledge that you need to make what you need. Two. And then I like to count out my beads because I don't like to stop every so often, check my work. Did I bead enough? Did I overbead? My AC's been going on all day. It has been amazing. Alright, so then there's our 90-degree turn. So now, because I've already beaded 1, 2 on this side, I'm going to grab 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that way I don't overbead. So I'll see how 11 goes. If I need 13, I'll add 13 on. That there. And here we go. Probably hear my AC going in the background. Because my AC unit closet is in my craft room here. My poor AC. ACs don't last very long down here in Florida, from Connecticut, and we only really needed the AC maybe 5 months out of the year. Maybe 6 months, 7. But I remember putting the AC in as early as April, end of March, and then taking it out in October and November, depending if we had a hot spell. But I think it was always out by November, definitely. So now, let's just take a look to see. This is actually really pretty blue, and in fact, I'm really happy with it. I think it's working out well. I think it's a pretty color. That's what I'm looking for. I'm thinking, and I want to accent. Still debating on whether I want to accent with this green. Probably not. I think I will go with this green because this one seems it's a lot lighter. I don't. This to me feels a bit heavy for this, and I think it's gonna overpower the blue. I just want a touch of green, so I'm gonna go with this one. This is Toho 00164. So I'll put this one back. But I still have the pearls, and you'll see what I'm gonna do with those. Let's see all my. I gotta clean this craft table. All right, let's see here. All right. I was thinking about doing this in silver, but you can do this in whatever colors you want. I was just in the mood for blue today. Trying to go as fast as I can. So, like I was saying before, since I may have 26 rondelles, because I'm thinking about doing, well, 22, because I'm thinking 11 will work. I'm hoping 11 will work because I don't want to do 13 because I think that may be way too much and it's not going to, in case the Nivette glass shape very well. It's going to be really loose and I don't want that. So I'm hoping 11 works, but I'm trying. If I'm thinking as I'm beading as well, that if it doesn't work, I may add a backing to this. Number one, to preserve the back of the Nivette, and number two, to give it bulk. So that way, if I do have to go up to 13, then it'll allow me to do that. And I'm just moving around. Yeah, always count out your beads because that way it gives you a goal to work towards. Like, hey, making progress. Yay, my bead pile's getting smaller and smaller. Hang on a second, guys. I just want to check out something. All right. Where am I? Okay, there we are. Right, just had to fix something on my computer. Not yet. I think this is going to be really pretty. I'm not going to spoil it, but because I want you guys to watch. Definitely not spoiling this. Give myself some extra thread. Really pretty. The blue and the gold together. Like I was saying before, I usually like, where is it? This is my signature color. You'll find it. I've got a lot here. There was about 100 grams in here. I think there's more at this point because I bought PF557 Togo brand, size 11 from other vendors, and I just decided to put it in this big giant baggie. But this, I love this color. This is, if I had to choose a favorite beading color, it is this. But recently, I have been going towards this color because it gives it a sparkle, but it's also a lighter color, and it just gives it something um, that this doesn't provide. So I've been leaning more towards a silver lined, light topaz-y color, gold color. And of course, it looks very good with pearl. And of course, it looks very good with my favorite. Oh, hi, Miss Cleo. What are you doing? Miss Cleo came into the craft room. But of course, I love, this is my favorite combination ever. Especially, actually, when it comes to like the darker, well, actually, it's not a darker red. Here we are. I love this dark cyan red color. So if you were to put it all together, it's my favorite combination. I just love this combo. My favorite if I had to choose. Okay, put that there, there. All right. Let's get back into beading since this is why you're watching. Okay, so I just have these few. Let's see, I may need more. Ooh. 13 before. Oh wait, no, I'm doing the small one. Sorry, 13 would still work, I think. And when I check this out, I don't want to tighten this up, and I kind of want to go like a little bit over the point here, just because when I have the 15s in between these gold seed beads, and this is why I like crop, because it sets you up for peyote stitch very well. We're going to do peyote stitch in between these gold beads here. And then we're going to encase the navette, but this is why I like cubic right angle weave, because it's a great setup for peyote. And I'll show you, I think if I don't get distracted, we'll have probably about 6 more minutes. Unless Miss Cleo comes in. What is it, Miss Cleo? It's 2:45. You don't eat now. I have a little kitty bed for her here in the craft room. It's on the other side of the room. It's nowhere near the needles. And I have a kitty, so I only work with one needle at a time. And as soon as I'm done with my project, the needle immediately goes away because I don't want to inadvertently, maybe get the thread caught on something, maybe a bracelet I'm wearing or a ring, taking it with me, and then the needle is attached, and I'm paranoid that she's gonna get hurt by the needle. So, and then my craft room door stays closed, so she doesn't come in here unless I'm in here. And since this is the only needle, I know she's safe. And of course, I regularly vacuum and sweep, but she really doesn't come over here too much, and everything's pretty clean. So, except my craft table. So that's that. So if anybody's in here, feel free, say hello, ask questions. Actually, it's going to take a little bit more time because once I get this row on, we have to do our 90-degree turn and come up onto this side. But this has got to be like my most favorite stitch ever. My most favorite stitch. Yeah, there we go. All right. And then if this bracelet works out, which I think it will, absolutely perfect. I think 11 is going to work, which means crap. Let me think. Let me think. You're watching my design process. Sometimes this is what happens. I stop in the middle of a piece and I went, oh crap. Wait, is that what I wanted to do? Hold on, let me think. Now I have to visualize. Hold on. Sorry. You know what? Design. This is what's going to happen. All right, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and I'm not going to give it away. But I was thinking about doing something else, and then I'm just going to bead it out. If this means we've got to do it all over again, then we do. But that is the beading. I don't have any. What did I do? Did I save that image? You know what? Let me double check. I think I'm on. I have my desktop computer right in front of me, my monitor. See my keyboard right here. Is it on here? And this is what I do too. I've got my computer up, and I like to go through my designs. I don't think I've got it on here. I took off like 500 photos off of my iPhone, and I just threw everything into a folder, and I'm like, I will sort it later. Let me just get these pictures off. No, it's not there. Is it in my Silver Snake Designs? Where am I? Where did I put my designs? I mean, I've been researching my drive. Let me check my Silver Snake Designs folder. So what I'm doing is my designs. Is it on here? Did I never take a picture of it? My sketches, my ideas. That's my tesseract that I did. In here? I know I had a picture. Oh no, these are just my drawings of what I oh no, these are just my drawings. I have a I keep a pen and paper on me, and wherever I am, like it's in my purse. Where is it? Did I never take a picture of it? And why? I bet you there's a picture of it on my Facebook. Pictures of items. I'm trying to find it because it was a sample piece, and I ended up ripping it up because I had to use the beads for something else, but I thought I saved a picture of it. I didn't do it that way. Hold on, I gotta go on my. Hi. Hi, Mary. Oh, hey, Mary. That is you. How are you? I'm working on a bracelet design, and yeah, thanks for coming to my live. Haven't talked to you in ages. Hope everything's well. I'm working on a bracelet, and then I've got an idea it, but I'm not giving it away because I want you guys to see the finished product. I'm obviously not going to be able to finish this bracelet today, but at least if I can get this Navette beaded, at least that'll be something. And then I think I'm going to do another scheduled live for tomorrow. I took Thursday and Friday off from work and decided I think I'm going to do some beading. So I went to the bead store Thursday and Friday. And so I went over there and picked up a lot of beads. If this works out, it will be a YouTube video. We are almost done with this one side. Yeah, I'm wondering why it's so dark. Well, maybe Michelle, I can turn another light on. There. And last one down. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. I know it looks like it's gonna be a little bit larger on this side, but that's okay. That's what I want. So now I'm gonna do a rondelle. Juicy beads. And I'm gonna do a 90-degree turn. Oops, let's get my ruler out of the way. All right. So today I think I'm gonna finish the Navette and bead that, and then maybe get started on the bracelet portion. One, two, and three. Okay, so now let me see how many I have on the other side. So now I want to count one, one that we just put on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. And then when you do your 90-degree turn, you already have your base to work on. So now you just flip it over and then work on your base. Come up. All right. It's so pretty, just like that. All right. Give me a second. I've been beading for like an hour now, so I got to do a little bit of stretching. You always want to look up because you keep your head down, life's going to pass you by. And then you always want to do your ergonomics and just stretch, take breaks, and then stretch and go back to your beading. I tell you, I'm really loving this blue and this gold color. It's very pretty. And I think it's because I like the light gold color and the silver line just gives it a nice light sparkle. Very pretty. All right, so we got two more. Little Cleo here. Where is Miss Cleo? Oh, hi, baby. You sleeping on your bed? Oh, what a good girl. If you look back in my communities on YouTube, you can see what she looks like. Or if you're my Facebook friend, you can see her there. I like it when I have like one bead left because then I'm like, yay! And hopefully it comes together. The thing about this is with cubic right angle weave, unless you know your beads, because the beads are going to have a big effect on if you're going to have 10 rondelles, 11 rondelles, seed beads on the seed bead side of the house. So it depends because not all seed beads are the same size. Choho are a little bit taller than Miyuki. Miyuki's a little bit rounder, more roundish. Choho's a little bit taller, a little bit, um, but they're not cylinder shape. But each, so like, I think I would probably say the four manufacturers that I use are Preciosa or Czech Glass. I use Toho, Miyuki, and Matsuno. So those are the four brands that I use. Okay, what? Did I miscount something? Hold on. What the heck did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. I did I do 13? I was going to do 11. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. 13 is perfect. I counted 11. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. And then, okay, I guess I have two more, and then we'll close it. So depending, and then also too, your rondelles have a big part of this as well. So if you are going to bead around a navette, you want to know what size rondelles you're using. I would say for size 11 seed beads, you use no larger than a 2 by 3 millimeter rondelle for size 11. Now, if you have a specific size rondelle, then what you have to take into account is the size of your seed beads. Are you, or the brand name, because like I said, they're a little different in size, a little bit bigger than others. So are you using Toho, Matsuno, Miyuki, or Preciosa brand? So knowing that will tell you how many rondelles you're going to need, because if I'm using, what am I using for this one? Those are the 15s. I'm using, so I'm using Check Glass 17020. That's, I think, Preciosa brand. And so if I'm using that, and let's say I tell you, oh, if you use Miyuki, it may become so tight that you're going to have to add, instead of the 13 rondelles that I'm using here, you may have to add 14 rondelles. So it really depends on the size. Um, Approximately, if you're going to be doing this, I would say for a this is a 17 by 32. I think you need about 15 to 17 rondelles on one side for this, depending on the rondelle and the CPs you use. And this one, I would probably say between 11 and 13 rondelles, depending on the seed bead or the size rondelles you're using. But that gives you a basic idea, because not all seed beads are the same. And that's why when you watch or you do a kit, or in the designer tells you, oh, use a specific bead, listen to them, because if you substitute a different brand, maybe same color, it may not work out exactly as the designer, the designer's project, because you used a different brand bead. And you may have to compensate for that. So if you're a beginner, you may not know how to do that. So if you're a beginner beader, I highly recommend that you listen to what the designer tells you you're going to need. And if you're an advanced, intermediate or advanced beader, then you can modify as you need if you're going to use a different brand bead than what the designer recommends. Okay, let's see where we are. That looks a lot better. And I'm cool with that. That's exactly what I've been looking for right there. I know it looks a bit loose, but I'm cool. So what I'm doing is double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm ready, and now I'm going to join the two ends. And this is what I mean by joining the two ends on the side rather than up here at the joint. It's just so much easier this way. So this is how I do it. Okay, line the tail. I hate tails. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up like this. I'm going to hold it. I see my thread is coming out of the top of the rondelle, but to join this, I'm going to pick up a seed bead. I'm going to come down the rondelle on the opposite side. Be careful not to poke yourself like I just did. Just like that. We're going to pick up a seed bead, and we're going to come up the rondelle on the opposite side. Now poked again. back around and come back out this rondelle again because I just kind of want to reinforce this. Pull it tight. Come up. We're not done yet. Because there's 4 sides to this. We've just closed side 1. Now, flip it on its side. Come up with this seed bead here. So the first one we're going to add seed beads, 2 seed beads. The next 2 sides we're only going to add 1 seed bead because this seed bead up here that we put at the top on this side now becomes the bottom on this row. So we only need to pick up 1, come down the seed bead on this side, we'll come across. You can see the loopy. Pull tight, we'll come across here. Now I'm going to in there. Be careful of where your thread is. You want to bring your needle through the loop. Find your tail. Pick up the seed bead. Down. This one. Since I'm above the hole here, I'm just going to work it here, just like this. Okay, and last but not least, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we just have to bring our needle up. See? Did I do an oopsie? I did do an oopsie. How did that happen? Oh, I did an oopsie. Hold on. I don't know what I did though. Undo the last 2 here. I think I missed around. I missed a side. That's what I did. I've been doing this for how many years? And I still am like, oops. Okay. Oh, that's what I did. I think I missed a side. All right. Let me rethread my needle. Okay, let me see what I did. Yeah, as long as I've been doing this, I still make mistakes. I'm gonna do this side. I think that's what happened. I think I missed a side. This this here. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. What did I do? So it's not something I did with the closing, but it could be. I'm gonna just take this whole thing apart and try again. This is insane for me because I don't make a lot of mistakes when I'm closing cubic right angle weave, but for some reason, all right, so I'm just checking 1, 2, 3 in a rondelle, 1, 2, 3 in a rondelle, and that looks good. That looks good. Let me just. I don't know what I did. Let me just take the whole thing apart. Just do it that way because I don't know what I did. Sometimes it's best just to start all over again. Oh, that's why. Okay, I see what I did. I brought my needle through the wrong hole. Okay, I was supposed to go through that one. Okay, that's what I did. So everything up to this point is good. Now I just have to redo this. Goodness gracious. Okay. Okay. Pull tight. Let's pull tight. There we go. Okay. So I come over here. That's the hole it's got to go through. Right there. I went through this bead instead of this bead. So I went through that one instead of this one. And of course, if this was a tutorial, I would have edited that whole part out. Okay. This should be correct. This bead, pick up the bead. This inside. There we go. Ah, perfect. Now I just have to close this. Perfect. All right. So that is closed. Everything looks good. Okay. I'm going to just keep my tail on. And now let's just take a look. See what it looks like. I know it looks a bit loose. May look a little big. But that's okay because when we add the 15s, it's going to shrink it right down. So let's move this out of the way. So now what I want to do is before I go any further, I just want to confirm that this is going to work. I'm just trying to get the center here. Trying to get that one down. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me write this down so I don't forget. So I'm going to go to my little book. I really, I was thinking about doing a book. I don't even know what I want to call this. I'll just call it balloon of that bracelet. And I always write in pencil because if something happens and I need to, bracelet. Okay, so if I need to, so I can't draw, so don't laugh at me. Six. Two. So that is. Okay. So I'm just trying to get the centerpiece, something that's going to work, but I wanted to make sure that it would work. So I think it will. So let's just continue. Ooh. Uh-oh. I think we're getting a South Florida storm. Just heard a big thing of thunder. Okay. All right. So now what I want to do. Now, do I want to do. Now, my next thing is do I want to. Let's push this off to the side. This. Okay. So this is too dark. Let me see if I've got this in a lighter 15. Probably not, but we will check anyway. Nope, of course not. Because why would I have all these colors? But that's the one I'm looking for. Just in case I put them in here. You never know with me. But no, these are all just brown colors. Brown and creams. Let's see if I've got. Nope, I do not. Oh wow. I just feel like this is just going to be too dark. This is too dark. Yeah, it's going to be too dark. But I don't want to do strictly this. I wanted to just. What if I did blue to make it look? Gold, but just match this color. Let's try the blue, see if that works. If I've got blue in that color. That's green. Let's see if we have a typical transparent blue. This is the biggest issue I have with beading is I've got all the colors, I've got a lot of colors, but I don't have that color. It's just a regular blue. I think then, nope, that's too dark of a blue. I want blue. Just work. The rest of these blues. That's too bright. Alright. So one of the things I also want to talk about is too dark. Talk about specific brands of beads. One of the things that I find with buying a specific brand of bead is that for example, I don't even know what T315R is. It might be Toho. But if you're going to buy Toho brand 00164 in the size 15, buy the 11 as well if you can. Buy it in sets. Buy it in the 6, in the 8, whatever you can get, because if you buy this color in Toho, you may not find it in Miyuki, or you'll find this color, but it's a shade off. So if you can, buy the 15, buy the 11, buy the 8, and buy the 6. I'm starting to do that because after 20 years, I'm learning my lesson. I'll leave blue. Okay. So that's too dark. I'm going to probably go online and see if I can get these in size 15s. But if I can't, I'm going to see if I can get Matsuno in size 15s. So we shall see. But this is, I can definitely see a shade. It is a shade darker. It's more than a shade darker. So I'll just put that away. But I'm going to keep it out because I like the color anyway. I like this. So this, I just want to confirm. Yeah, this is a transparent. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bead it in this, and then I'm going to accent with this. So if that is 26, 26. So I just it's so it should still have this stuff up. So let's see how this is gonna work. Okay. So I like to do the inside diameters first to hold the navette in. And then I like to do the outside because if I do the outside first, it's going to shrink it way too much, and I may not be able to get my needle in between the size 11s. Actually, you know what? I think I like this. I really can't see these little beads. Goodness gracious. So what I think I'm going to do, if this bracelet works out, I'm going to research beads online, get the exact beads I need, and then I'm going to create kits for these. That way, you guys don't go crazy, and then beginner beaders can bead this. What time is it? 3:30. Just wondering, this gorgeous watch is a vintage Xanadu watch from the 80s. Xanadu. If that doesn't scream 80s, I don't know what does. But it is a gorgeous watch. It is a mother of pearl. It's got mother of pearl here, this white moon, and then the watch face in there where the letters or the numbers are. Mother of pearl. It's so pretty. Cleo. She's doing her meow. So she's downstairs and she cries for me. So I have to call her and then she comes running upstairs. Cleo, come here. I'm upstairs. It's almost like she forgets where I am. I mean, I don't think she has dementia because she's not crying for me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I think she just wants me to come downstairs and feed her, but it's not. What time? Yeah, it's not time for her to eat yet. She doesn't eat until like 5:30 because that's when I get home from work. Leo, come here. I'm upstairs. Anyway, she's only like she's between 11 and 13 years old. And I adopted her when she was between 6 and 8. Yeah, she's about 13 years old now. At least that's what the vet thinks. She's closer to 13. But when I adopted her, I wanted a cat that was. I didn't want a kitten. As much as I love kittens, as cute as they are, my lifestyle, a kitten would not be for me. And I did some research figuring out what kind of personality I wanted in a cat. So I settled on Cleo because I felt that she was calm, collective. You know, she's an adult cat. Um, she's very quiet when she was in the shelter. She was in the shelter for 3 years. Nobody wanted her. And then when I went to see her, I thought she was really pretty, but she was on her little bed with she was facing the wall. She didn't want to deal with anybody. I said, okay, that's my cat. And then they were really surprised. The volunteers at the shelter, they were really surprised that I wanted Cleo. Her name is Cleopatra. I call her Cleo for short. I figured I'd keep her name too, because That's the name she's known by for like 8 years. So kept it. And then I did like a little Instagram of her, and then I went back to the shelter because I went to because I wanted because I know they loved her very much. So I said, "Here's my Instagram, and you can be a part of her life." And it just started off as something like just for the shelter volunteers, so they could see her, see how well she was doing in her new home, and still be a part of her life. And I became friends with a couple of the volunteers, and then she blew up on Facebook. Oh, goodness gracious. At one point, she had more followers than I did on YouTube. I was like, goodness gracious. But I don't really do anything with it. I just post on there. It's mainly for the shelter, and the volunteers and my friends who they can see her and still be a part of her life. I think at one point I tried a YouTube and it just didn't work. So I was like, I'm not doing this too much. So I just post pictures and a little bit of videos on Instagram and do just get to watch her there. If other people want to watch, you're welcome to. But I really don't do anything with it. I just post a picture, upload it, and bam, that's it. Whatever. Okay. So now I'm on my second round. Is this gonna work? I think this is gonna work. Yeah. You know what? The blue ended up working out pretty well because it gives the illusion, because it's transparent, it's a lighter blue. So it gives the illusion that it really just ended at these size 11s, this cubic right angle weave. And the blue was coming through these transparent blue beads. And then what I think I'm going to do is dot on my third row. I'm going to do one round of these, so you'll get a nice little green hue. And then I'll do a green around the end here. And then it's looking pretty good. It looks like it's going to sit just nicely. The beads aren't going to pull. And 13 rondelles was absolutely perfect. So I'm really happy there. So yeah, this actually worked out. Very happy. All right. All right, time to stretch. All right, where am I? Okay, let's just continue. So I'm on my second round, which is good. The thing about the second round with doing this is that now that you have the little 15 sitting in between the 11s, it gets a little bit harder because those little 15s that you put in between the 11s in the first round, you sit snug in there. And then as you start to beat around, they pull tighter and tighter and tighter. So that way, by the time you get up to the step up to do your third round, the beads are so tight, it's hard for me to get my needle through the beads to do the step up. I want to do a round of green. See, that's one thing about beading is do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? Hi, Miss Cleo. What is it? Come here. Hi, baby. What do you want? Head switches? Yes, you're a good girl. Are you good? Where's your fishy? Where's your fishy? Here, play with fishy. Come on. Get that fishy. Good girl. Get it. Get that fishy. Now she wants to play with fishy. All toys are fishy. She got this little fish toy. And I would say get fishy. Get fishy. So she associates fishy with toy. And of course I don't change the words. So she knows her words. She knows fishy. She knows night night. What else does she know? Cookie, which is a little cat tree, and Num Nums, which is her dinner. And she knows Cleo. That's about it. That's all she knows. What are you doing? And sometimes she just likes to walk around the bathroom sniffing things. I'm like, yeah, it's not changed. But she is a good cat because she sleeps through the night, except for last night when it was like midnight. She still wanted to play with Fishy. It's good thing I don't work in the morning because it's Saturday. But she's still a good kitty. Coming up onto the step up shortly. Now, as you can see, I've been live since 2 p.m. Eastern time, and it is what now 3:30. So this portion of the bracelet takes a long time. Okay, is that the step up? Yes. Sometimes I have to push. Gotcha. Yes. Make sure we're going up through the two beads. Yes, I am. All right. So that is round two, and you can see it looks like teeth. Looks like a little mouth. Yum 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 yum. Um, let's see. Now, do I want to continue one round of the blue, or do I want to just dot it with the green? Why don't we just do a couple, let's do a little bit with the green and just see how it looks. You know, we can always take it out and come back. But when I do the bracelet part, I definitely want to dot it with the green, and I definitely want to do green around the 11s on the outside. So I am thinking about doing the green on the inside, but we can check it out. So let's just make sure. Yep, that looks like it's gonna be perfect. So let's just see what it looks like with the green. If not, we take it out and we continue with the blue. This is a design. See what works and what doesn't. Now, if you're also a beginner, I know it's difficult regarding beads, and most of what you saw with my 15s and everything, I have been collecting those for 20 years. So some of those colors I can't get anymore, and manufacturers discount beads all the time. Or not discount, discontinue beads all the time. Okay. So now I'm at my bottom. Supposed to. Alright, so I'm going to make that a point. So I'm going to go through the next bead. Just okay, good. Miss Cleo, what? Getting hungry? No, she's sleeping on her bed. I think I'm gonna start doing more of these lives on here. Does it look good? I know I said it was good. Yeah, I'm okay with the green. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. Let's just continue. So yeah, if you're a beginner, you don't know what beads to use, I would recommend by maybe focusing on one brand, like Miyuki, and focusing on, buying the same number colors. Like if this is Toho 164 in size 15, get that same color 11, 8, and 6s. That way, you have to do something like this where you have to match 15s and 11s. You have the same colors, numbers. And I'm just going to finish up this round. Okay. These are so light and transparent, it's so hard to see. These are really pretty together. All right, and we're at our step ups. I'm going to go through blue. Just going to go through blue first. All right, that looks really pretty. I'm really happy with that. That looks good. Just double checking my double checking some on the computer. Oh, gee. Why is that showing there? Oh, goodness gracious. Huh. just want to check out something on the trying to find that picture I was looking for earlier. All right, now that we did the front, now we're gonna go do the back. Get my beads. Just go down the beads. Close the round down. Start the beads. Part is a little bit harder because there's no rondelles to keep you on the straight and narrow, but I think we can do it. And then once you do the front, and then you go and work on the back, I would probably do a round of seed beads, and then I would hold my navette in place, and then bead around, just because you this is going to start bringing them closer together and cupping in on itself and shrinking in size a bit because you're adding the 15. So you want to make sure when you add your navette that you do it as early as possible, but not as late as possible. Well, technically late as possible, because if you put in the navette now, you're going to be spending more time trying to hold it in place. So usually when I'm a little over halfway, once I reach this point, I like to drop it in there and hold it like this, and then I can bead around and then pull tight, because I don't want the navette to fall out, but I also want, as I'm but I also want, as it's starting to pull in on itself, to start pulling around and over that navette, and I'll start holding it in place. And then once we get on the second round, you can really pull in tighter. You can see it's kind of staying in there, but there's still enough room. But once we get on the second and third round, it'll really pull it and hold it in. Okay. This is going to be a really pretty bracelet when it's done. But I'm not going to tell you what it's going to look like, because I want it to be a surprise. I told myself a lot with the beading needle. I should be used to it by now, but it still hurts. making my tension as tight as I can for the back. But at the same time too, that means it's going to make for a very difficult second row. Just like that. Okay, you can see by the first row in the back, it's pretty tight, and that stone is not coming out. So let's do one more round. This is going to be a tough one because now this is the back, and these beads are already really, really tight. You can see that I'm trying to get these little 15s to sit over the Nuvette. And this is what's going to hold it in place. Now, sometimes, depending on what beads you use, you may have to do a fourth row. But I think this will be fine with a third row only. Hey guys, welcome in, whoever's in here. Hello. Feel free to say hello, ask questions. This is one of my first lives I've done in a long time, so I think I'm going to start doing it here on this platform rather than that other horrible platform, because while I have probably a few subscribers in that other platform, we kept restricting our lives, and I still to this day can't figure out what I did. I took away my business cards, I took away everything because it said, "Oh, you're promoting yourself." Well, that's why I clicked that button. Yeah, it's me that I'm promoting. Apparently, you can't do that. And they're saying that I was trying to get people off the platform. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I watched my words, and I'm still getting my lives restricted over there. So I said, to heck with it. I'm not dealing with them anymore. Okay. We're cruising right along here. This is looking really good. And then once I finish up this back, we're going to add the green 15s to the back and to the front. That's going to be really pretty. And then I've got a bigger Nuvette, so I was thinking about making a matching necklace. But I don't think I'll turn these into, I might turn them into earrings, the smaller Nuvette, because it's not that heavy. But I don't know if I want to do a necklace, a bracelet, and earrings, but it might. We have to get through the bracelet first to see if this is actually going to work the way I see it in my head currently. And then, which one is it? Just four. I've been eating for about 2 hours now, so I think I'm going to finish this with that. And then maybe I'll go live tomorrow and figure out how to finish the bracelet. So now that it's getting tighter and tighter, this second row on the back is the worst row for me. Really, really. Almost done. I think I think 3 is definitely going to hold this. This is not going anywhere. So lucked out with this combination of seed beads. And then we'll do one more round. Oh, this is going to be the worst step up. Alright. And we are at our step up. Wish me luck. Needle. Come on. Now. Come on, can I just get through the first bead? But can I do it? Yes. Goodness gracious. Okay, so now this color away. And finish up the back with the green. And then I'll change out my thread because I don't think I'm going to have enough to go around the back and then the front on the outer rim. And then I'll go through next beads. Oh, shoot. Right, good. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. almost done. And our last little bead. Yes. There we go. I'm not gonna have enough. So what I'm gonna do is keep this tail here, that tail, because I'm gonna have to work this through. I don't need. There's my fire line on the floor. That's what fell earlier. I found a star bead. I found a star bead. We'll put the star bead right there. Then you don't want, but I like tails. I like. I mean, I like tails and I don't like tails. I have like a love-hate relationship with tails. I like them when they're long so I can work them back through the piece, but I don't like them because they get in the way. Okay, so now I'm going to come through a couple of these here because this is pretty tight. So we're going through some 15s and the friction. And then we're going to those tails. And then I'm just gonna anchor it. And then I'm gonna 11s, and I'm gonna loop around on the 11s. One, this should hold it in place. And then 4, and then what I'll do is I'll work the tails back through the piece later, but that is just to secure it so it doesn't come out. And I don't want to tie things off and glue them yet, only because this piece is not yet done. And if we glue something here after we tie off the thread and put a little drop of glue in there, and we have to bring our needle through that particular bead, the glue's going to be there, it's going to stop it, and it's not going to be able to go through. You're not going to bring your needle through that bead. So with a project like this, I really like to wait until I'm all done. And I like the long tails because I can work it back through the piece. But like I said, they get in the way. So I try to hold the tails as I'm working around the piece. And so now I'm doing, you know what? Should I do the green on the outside? Yeah, let's just do it. It gives it a nice little, the green against the gold is just giving it a nice little glow. And I think it'll look a lot better on the front because we have the blue rondelles. So I think it'll look really pretty when we see it on the front. I can't wait to see what it looks like on the front. I'm really excited with this bracelet. But as you can see, we've been beading now. I started at 2. It's now go after 4. This piece took me about 2 hours. But that's also because I stopped too a bit. If I was just listening to music or a podcast and just focusing on this and not talking, I probably would get it done in about an hour and a half. But still, that's still a good chunk of time for, um, this one component of the bracelet. we still have to make the bracelet portion. This is just the focal. This is really pretty, but I think what I'm going to do is before I do the tutorial for this, I'm going to get a couple colorways, pre-order my beads, and just take it from there. And then we'll just bring this around. Yeah, we're going to join beads on here. And I know you're probably wondering why I'm adding 15s if we're going to add the wraparound, the bracelet portion. It's because you can ignore the 15s and you just focus on the size 11s and just bring your needle through the size 11s. You don't have to go through the 15s at all. But you can do the 15s now, so that way you don't have to worry about it later. Just complete it now. I just realized it's okay. Okay. This tail, 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 tail. All right. We're almost done with the back. Okay, I'm gonna put that bead up. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go through that 11. That 11. Now we are going to add the 11s on the front. Okay. Yeah, I really like the blue, and I really think the green on the outside is really going to bring it together, and then the gold looks like it's gonna dot it. So let's just add the green around. This green is almost like a, what is it? Not quite a chartreuse because it's a little bit more. I'd probably say this is a light lime green. Maybe this lime green. All right. Maybe, you know what? A little bit of time. I just start the. Okay, it's looking really pretty. I love that green. Yeah, that green I think is really, it's not, the balance of colors look good. You were focusing on the blue, but then we have the bit of gold dotting through, and then we have the bit of green on the outer edges. And I think it's really looking really, really good. It's really pretty. I think what I'll do, blue, it's not the rondelles, it's between the rondelles. It's not that. It's not the rondelles, it's between the rondelles. So maybe, all right, you know what? We're just gonna do it anyway. If it doesn't work, then instead of adding 13 rondelles, I'll add 14 and take it from there. This just really sucks because I wasn't expecting this. That's all right. One more bead and we will be done with this one. We are. We are done with the Navette front, and there's what the back looks like. Wow. So a little over 2 hours for this one. This took a little long. So approximately 2 hours and 15 minutes. Wow. Okay. So the thing that I didn't even realize when I was doing this was that so let me write that down so I don't forget. It's the seed beads. Crap. That's gonna kill me because I didn't even think that if I had an odd number of rondelles, that it's the seed beads because I need to create the band and it's the seed beads that I have to work off of and not the rondelles. So the 6th rondelle in is the center of 13 rondelles. All right, now I gotta figure out. You know what? I'm gonna do this offline. Um, Thanks for being here, guys. Whoever stopped in to say hello, replay, chat, people, hello, welcome, welcome. I might be on tomorrow, but if I do decide to do that, I will definitely, you know, put a little note in my communities and prepare the stream ahead of time so you guys can be notified when the stream goes live. So I'll have a link to that stream before it goes live. So thank you for being here, guys. I will see you later. Bye.